What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is the Librarians Season 4, Episodes 3 and 4, and The Christmas Thief and The Silver Screen. So, both of them really good episodes. Really good episodes. This season so far has been hitting bullseyes with pretty much every episode it's had. And, I don't know, I haven't been expecting that. It feels like all three of the first seasons they've been good, they've been enjoyable, but there have been some episodes I'm just like, okay, that was a little goofy, okay, that was a little too much silliness for me. Both of these episodes, they have good heart to them, they have good stories, they have very interesting little, magic stuff going on. I loved both of these episodes. So, let's start it off with first in The Christmas Thief. So, like it says, it does involve Christmas. We actually come to find out not only about Santa, because, of course, since there's a world of magic, Santa does exist in it, but we also learn about Santa's brother, who is the patron saint of thieves. And so we learn that apparently they're rivals. Apparently, the patron saint of thieves hates his brother and has been trying to sort of one-up him. And so Christmas is also called Takesgiving instead of... Or is it Thanksgiving? No. What's it called? It's not Thanksgiving. It's Thanks-taking, maybe? I don't remember what they call it now. It was something clever like that. I'm pretty sure it was like Thanks-taking instead of Thanksgiving. But he has his own holiday on Christmas called Thanks-taking. And so it's the day where all the thieves steal and pretty much they take things and then give that gift of stealing stuff. And so that's kind of the basis of the villain in this one. We find out that the guy we see at the very beginning who runs this bank of thieves is the patron saint of thieves and is Santa Claus's brother. And he's really looking for Santa Claus's sleigh. He wants to have it so he can destroy it and take away Christmas forever. Well, we also come to find out more about Ezekiel as well. And this is something that got me really excited. Because if there's one character that I felt like over the past 3 seasons has not been given enough development, enough backstory, it's been Ezekiel. We've had a couple episodes where he did grow a little bit as a character, but for the most part, he's just been Ezekiel Jones. He thinks he's the best, he thinks he's awesome, and that's it. In this episode, we finally learn more about him. We finally learn a bit more about his backstory. We see apparently he grew up in a home, a woman adopted him, and then 3 other girls, and she raised them all to be thieves just like she is. And not only can that be tough being in an adopted home, but also he's seen as like the the one that's sort of out of the family, the one that's not really given as much attention, which kind of makes sense. You got a mother and she's got 3 daughters and then 1 son. Chances are the daughters probably will get a little bit more attention. And so it does make sense why Ezekiel would be so full of himself, because deep down, his family never thought much of him. And so he's got these deep... You typically see that whenever somebody has like a lot of arrogance, it's really because deep down they're very conscious. Like they don't have a whole lot of self-confidence. And so it does sort of show in this episode. We see he doesn't have that self-confidence. His family beat that out of him at a young age, and so he had to go and become the best thief in the world. But they don't even appreciate that whenever he does stuff. He stole a Fabergé egg, and they don't even understand. His mom's just like, it was just an egg. Who cares about that? And he's like, no, it's a Fabergé egg. How do you not understand? So I really liked getting to see that dynamic. Ultimately, it does sort of backfire a little bit, because when he does go to see them, he visits them and he gets upset. And so when he does that, he gets upset, he brings his mom to the library, and then she sees all of this stuff in there, and she sees the door maker that can make a door to go anywhere in the world. She's like, ooh, opportunity here. So then she steals it. She starts using it to go rob a bunch of places, but it turns out pretty bad because she actually steals from the bank of thieves owned by the patron saint of thieves. And so, of course, Ezekiel realizes what she's done, takes her there so they can replace it, because if they don't, eventually they're going to find her, realize that she took the painting from them, and then liquidate her, which I kind of figured meant turn him into liquid, and sure enough, we actually get to see one guy get turned into liquid. I'm like, holy crap, this season is really doing a lot more with the killings and stuff. Like, people are dying. It's getting pretty crazy. But anyway, so they all go to return the painting, but ultimately they get caught. Jacob and Cassandra get stuck under a table trying to figure out what to do. They manage to get a message to Ezekiel's adopted sisters back in Australia to, I guess, open up a door somehow for Jenkins to be able to travel from where they are hanging out with Santa Claus and deliver a note giving the sleigh to Santa Claus's brother, so that way, because it's not a stolen item that's been given as a gift, it's an actual, like, giving the gift, the owner is giving it to him, technically he can no longer have the sleigh. And so it's kind of a little bit of a loophole that, very clever, and honestly, most of these episodes, pretty much all of them so far, have had that kind of clever little turn that they use to manage to stop the bad guy. And I love it whenever they do that. It feels like that was really clever. I love how they do that. So anyway, so we see he can no longer take the sleigh. We do have a little bit of a moment with Ezekiel and his mom where he's just talking to her about how he didn't steal to make money. You know, everything he stole, all the money he stole, it went to help people. You know, he funded kids going to college. He funded people getting homes. He funded people getting to eat. Stuff like that. And it sort of showed a little bit more depth to Ezekiel's character. He wasn't the confident person that we've always seen him to be in this one. He was a lot more broken down. He was a lot more vulnerable in this episode. And I love whenever they can take a character who's normally so arrogant and do that with him. It just makes him so much more complex, in my opinion. So it did end on a little bit of a cheesy happy note where he takes Santa's sleigh with his mom, takes all the presents back to the people, and she gets to see all of them experiencing their gifts. And whenever she gets back, she's like, "Ooh, I love this, let's do it some more." And then he's like, "Well, we don't have any more presents." She's like, "I can't believe I haven't been doing this my whole life. I can't believe I did this." But Ezekiel does sort of turn it around and tell her, well, you gave us a home. You gave us love. I learned that from you. So it was a little bit of kind of a sappy, happy ending, but it is a Christmas episode. And true to any Christmas movie or TV show, it is kind of sappy in the end. I don't mind that too much. I think it really did fit. The overall tone of the show in the first place is normally pretty goofy and silly, so having a sappy ending like this in the show really works. But I think they managed to tone it down enough to the point where it actually was emotional. Because at first, whenever she's all like, "Oh yeah, I love doing this, I can't believe I haven't been doing this more," all that stuff, it kind of seemed like, oh, this is goofy, this is silly. But then Ezekiel, actually calms it down, and the way he talks to her is just very calm and doesn't sound goofy, doesn't sound silly. It sounds like an emotional moment, and I'm just like, they're actually pulling this off very well. And I don't know, it was a great wrap-up for the episode, so yeah, I really like, obviously, that first episode. Love getting to see more about Ezekiel. I guess a couple more moments that were really funny that I just kind of want to mention because they were really, really funny. First of all, when they first have the globe stolen, the door maker, Cassandra obviously calls Eve because she feels like, well, we need to get in touch with her. Well, at this point, Ezekiel, of course, does not want them to know because he doesn't want anybody to have to meet his family. And so he's freaking out, please, no, please don't do this, please don't do this. And just two of the funniest things come in this one moment because he's like, you're my real family, but not in the same way because I actually like you guys. It's kind of funny because that's the truth about family. I don't know if you guys have this, but in my life, I have certain family members that are close enough that they're more like friends, because family really, you're not really friends with them. You can't share a lot of your deepest, darkest secrets. Typically, if you're close enough with family, they become friends. And then with friends, there's some friends that are so close they feel like family. And so it's kind of funny to see that in this moment. They're just kind of illustrating that, you're like family, but not like my family because I actually like you guys. That's just how it is. Sometimes friends get that close to where they're your family, but not really family because then you'd be arguing a lot. But anyway, but then on top of that, whenever Cassandra finally says, okay, nothing's wrong, Eve, we're all good here, we found the bottle opener, and hangs up the phone, Ezekiel goes in and kisses her, and she's like, and then he goes to kiss Jacob as well, and he's like, dude, oh, it's just, the reactions were perfect. And I don't know, the comedy, it's really stepped up this season. I don't know what it is about this season so far, but it has been legitimately funny. Not goofy funny, not silly, very over-the-top silly. it's actually been good comedy that has made me laugh. And that's good comedy. Whenever I'm actually laughing and not just kind of like, it was kind of fun. No, I'm laughing because that is legitimately hilarious. So, that's the first episode. Talk about the second episode now because it's not really as character based, but it still had a very good story. We see Eve and Flynn go to the movies to go check out this one movie that Eve really wants to see. She's seen it so many times, and so she wants to be able to see it on the big screen. But then they get teleported into the movie, and so now it's up to the team to try to get them out. They think, oh, we need to play along with the movie, which of course Eve can do because she's seen it so many times. Ezekiel, Cassandra, and Jacob all get sucked into another movie made by the same guy who's made all of these movies. And so now they're trying to find their way into the right movie using the magic door. And that's pretty much the plot of this episode. You know, seems simple, but ultimately it ends on a very heartfelt, meaningful note that I did not see coming. And what's really funny about it is that whenever they're first talking about the movie, this one woman that goes to see Flynn's character, Mac something? May's last name was Mac. Whatever. She comes to see him and asks him to find this, ruby, this necklace. And so he goes to do it, and in the end, she ultimately turns on him and tries to shoot the guy that stole the necklace from her in the first place, or something like that. I don't really remember, but ultimately, everybody who watched it was like, man, that came out of nowhere. I didn't even see that coming. That seemed like it was completely out of nowhere. And so at the time, I didn't think much of it, but then ultimately, when they find the script later on in the episode, they realize that it's been changed, and that's when it hits me. I'm like, oh, he changed the script. That's why it seemed completely out of nowhere. Well, ultimately the end of this episode ties in so perfectly because it kind of feels like it comes out of nowhere as well. As we're going through this episode, there's just the owner of the movie theater is the daughter, I believe. Yeah, she's the daughter of the guy who wrote all of these movies and directed all the movies. And so, of course, you're thinking, okay, what's going on with her? There's this old woman that for some reason she has lines. She keeps trying to get into the movie theater and they're not letting her in. And I'm like, okay, clearly she's going to play into it somehow. Well, ultimately, we find out that apparently this girl or this woman that's running the movie theater, her mother died. And I'm like, okay, so let me guess. This is going to be her mom. Her mom is upset because, the guy that wrote all these movies did something to upset her, and so now she's using magic to torture these people and suck them into movies. No. Not at all, actually. Like, I was expecting this big old, she sucks them into the movies, and so now they're having to figure things out, and it's going to be some battle between them and her trying to suck everybody into the movies and have the movie place burned down because it represents her husband that cheated on. No. It's not that at all. It turns out this woman was the one that the guy was having an affair with. She had a daughter who turns out to be the woman who owned the place, and the father and his wife actually took her in and raised her. And as we come to find out, the movie that Flynn and Baird are in, the ending that they played into, it's not actually how it was supposed to end. So when they loop back around, they realize, oh, this isn't the intended ending. So we have to do it the way it was originally written. And the way it was originally written was the mom who came to track down the ruby necklace was actually coming to find Pearl, the daughter. And she and the guy that was supposedly stole the ruby necklace, they had a daughter, he took her, and so she's been trying to track down her daughter. And ultimately it ends with her getting to reunite with the daughter. And then we cut back from the movie to what's going on in the theater, and there's the old woman, and she gets to reunite with her daughter as Flynn and Baird are looking in. And I'm just like, it was just so beautifully written. I actually started tearing up a little bit. Like the way it was perfectly woven. And all these little hints thrown in here and there, they make it seem like maybe they're going one route, maybe they're going the Librarians route where it's all going to be some epic climactic magical battle, this woman wanting revenge and trying to do all this stuff. But no, it turns out to be just this really, really good, heartfelt ending. I mean, it's been so good so far. These first two episodes, these next two episodes, really, really a lot of fun, but really heartfelt and really emotional too. And I think they're doing a very good job of telling these stories and really upping the drama. Upping the drama a little bit, but not just that, also really providing a lot of heart to these characters and writing some good stories. So, yeah, I've obviously really enjoyed this season so far. I hope you guys are too, but anyway, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What are your thoughts on these first 2 episodes, or these next 2 episodes? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all the good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe, future Librarians reviews, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.